So within just the last half hour or so, Fairfax Media has announced sweeping changes to its operations. 1,900 jobs will be cut over the next 3 years. Paywalls will be erected around the paper's websites, and the print editions of the Sydney Morning Herald and the Age newspapers will become tabloid-sized. It's closing printing facilities in Chullora and Tullamarine. Well, finance reporter Alicia Barry is with me. Alicia, a huge announcement from Fairfax just in the last half hour or so. Take us through it.
Well, that's right, Joe. Now, as you mentioned, Fairfax is going to be cutting 1,900 jobs over the next 3 years. It is closing its printing plants in Chullora in Sydney and Tullamarine in New South Wales. And it's also going to sell its stake in Trade Me. It's going to reduce its stake in Trade Me, which is a New Zealand buy and sell auction site, much like eBay. So that's obviously not performing well, so it's cutting its stake in that. Now these move, and it's also going to be moving its masthead, so its Sydney Morning Herald and its Age, into more tabloid style papers, so reducing that as well. Now these moves are expected to save the company $235 million over the next 3 years.
And a real reflection of the struggles that newspapers are going through right now. And at the top of that statement this morning, it was saying this is positioning the company to adapt itself for the digital age.
Well, that's right. And Fairfax has a 3-year Future of Fairfax strategy where it's hoping to turn the company around. Now, the company posted a 41% decline in first half net profit back in February, and Chief Executive Greg Highwood indicated that there would be further cost cutting in order to boost profitability. He warned at the time that job losses were not out of the question, so I suppose this is really part of that strategy in the hope that Fairfax can stay relevant as the media landscape changes. 1,900
jobs just seems like such a huge number for a media company in Australia.
Well, a lot of analysts have been saying that Fairfax just hasn't been keeping pace with technology. So perhaps it is making this massive change as it races to keep up. I mean, we're seeing obviously competition from different platforms and the like. We've seen investors just pull out of their share price. It's down 85% over the last 5 years. So it really has to do something to not only keep investors happy, but actually remain profitable.
And the News Corp had instituted paywalls on its media. It was gradually doing that. It started over the last couple of months. I guess there was only a time before Fairfax had to go down that same path.
Well, that's right. And there's a lot of contention about just how slow Australian newspaper companies have been to implement these paywalls. I mean, we've had newspapers on the internet for so long for free, but we do know that Fairfax is going to be following the New York Times style paywall model where users will have access to a few free articles and then have to pay for the entire content.
A sad day for those readers, though, who love their broadsheets. A lot of the readers out there say that's where quality journalism comes from, and they question whether you can continue that quality journalism in a tabloid. But in this statement this morning, Fairfax is saying their editorial standards will remain as they are.
Well, they're going to say that, of course, and I suppose what it comes down to for them is it's just not profitable for them to be printing these broadsheets, and if they're not making money, they can't pay the journalists to go out and perhaps investigate quality stories. So they are in, I suppose, a fairly tight position where they've had to make a fairly dramatic decision.